Welcome to Departure Delayed, the podcast that explains the hidden side of the longevity equation and quantum state anti-aging. We will always ask the question, how can my final departure date from this world be delayed? Today we will answer your nutrition and health-related questions to help you unravel the mysteries behind biological aging. The host, guest, and speakers on this program are not medical doctors. No medical claims are being stated, and the information presented is for personal research and educational purposes only. The information has not been evaluated by Health Canada, the FDA, the FTC, or the USDA, and is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. We do not represent PRL Labs USA. So sit back, relax, and get ready to fill your cup from the fountain of youth.
Hi everybody, welcome to Departure Delayed. I'm your anti-aging guru, Brian Gangle from BGAngel.com. Welcome to today's exciting episode as we talk all about one of the longevity genes called the Sirtuin gene. And I gotta tell you, if you haven't heard about this one, hang tight. You're gonna love what we're gonna tell you about this amazing longevity gene. But before we dive into today's episode, listen, I've got to share with you some of our amazing live events that we have coming up in your area. You know, starting in February 2020, we've got our Health Coach on Fire course. That's a gateway course which really opens the door to you becoming a health coach and wellness advocate. And these are people that guide their clients to achieving their goals of peak health and happiness. And health coaches often go on to doing one-on-one consulting, hosting their own workshops, creating online programs. Some even write a book or start their own live cooking show. Others even partner with established clinics and work with other professionals. It's one of the fastest growing segments in the health industry, and our Health Coach on Fire course will really get you the foundation that you need. 4 classes really conveniently placed there on Tuesday evenings starting at 7:30 in the evening, so you don't have to rush from work. And they're at the Markham Hilton Suites and Convention Center in downtown Markham, just a little bit north of Toronto. They're going to be really exciting classes. Class 1, we're going to talk about the deficiencies and drill down on the food. Class 2 is going to be about immune-specific issues and really how to become one of the best health coaches in your area. Class 3 is going to be about toxicity, living in the new electrified world that we have. And then Class 4 is going to be those blockages to healing and managing stress in the workplace and so much more. You're going to really love these courses, and they're so value priced. All 4 classes are only $195, and you get tickets over at eventbrite.com. Just key into the search menu, Health Coach on Fire. And then, starting in March, our life frequency classes are back. And this is where we focus in on the understanding of how energy and electricity is at the heart of the healing process. And we spotlight unique modalities and new technologies that can help to increase the human condition, namely vibration and energy flow. And after these classes, you're going to attract a lot of like-minded individuals. And if you're a practitioner, a lot of new clients that are going to want to achieve their wellness goals as well. And the life frequency classes will get you more details. But for now, you can get most of the details at my website at bgangel.com. And our blockbuster event for you anti-aging freaks out there. You want to get your tickets to the National Conference of Traditional Healing. 4 exciting days, April 30th, May 1, 2, and 3, 2020, featuring the legends of health. We have got some incredible names on the schedule for you. How is this for a lineup? The legend himself from the whole food plant-based movement, best-selling author of Whole and the China Study, Mr. T. Colin Campbell himself on a rare Canadian appearance. Returning legends Brian and Anna Maria Clement and Dr. Daryl Wolf, and of course the legend Dr. Gerald Smith, and we have the Professor George Grant, Dr. Akbar Khan from MedCore Cancer Centers, Dr. Stanley Nye, Dr. Marcel Wolf, Mr. Tony Hornick, the Sprout Man himself, Miss Andrea Donsky is going to be our moderator for our women's panel. The incredible Mindy Blackstein and Jeffrey Kipple, the health and fitness experts in Canada, the incredible Dr. Tim Holton, Peter and Ursula Schnell from Lido's Light Crystals, And that is just the beginning. Over 20 international speakers and over 24 workshops for you to choose from for one low, convenient price. And you can get all the details about this blockbuster event over at eventbrite.com and just key into the search menu, Legends of Health. Don't miss it. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. So today we're going to talk about the Sirtuin gene. Now, Sirtuin is spelled S-I-R-T-U-I-N. And really, if you haven't heard about this one, this is really going to be an enlightenment for you. Now, it's a family of 7 proteins which play a big role in cellular health. And they can only function, this gene family can only function in the presence of another nutrient, which we talked about in one of our previous episodes called NADH, which stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Now, this is a coenzyme that is found in all living cells. And the NADH is vital to cellular metabolism and hundreds of biological functions. So this is a big player on the block. Now, the way they work is really interesting. Now, as I said, they are a protein, and we're talking about the molecular proteins here, and they have so many different functions within the human body. Now, one of the most well-known proteins that you may know of is hemoglobin, your blood. And this is responsible for transporting oxygen and, of course, energy through the blood. And the myoglobin is a hemoglobin counterpart, and together they make up the globulin family. Now, your body has almost 60,000 families of proteins. That's amazing when you start to think about it. 60,000 families of proteins. So the sirtuins, this family of genes, is only one family that is found in the body. And while hemoglobin is a family with 2 proteins, sirtuin genes have a family of 7 proteins. Now, these 7 sirtuin proteins that are in the cells, 3 of them work on the mitochondria. Mitochondria, we've talked about that before. That's the currency, the energy of the cells. 3 of them work on the nucleus of the cell, and 1 of them works on the cytoplasma. And each plays a different role. But essentially what they do is to remove acetyl groups from the other proteins. Now, acetyl groups control different reactions within the body itself. They're really like physical tags that are on the protein, and they recognize and react with each other. So the sirtuin genes work with the acetyl groups by doing what's called deacetylation. So if you think about it, okay, let's talk about methylation, demethylation. Very similar process. Methylation is where we put energy into the cells, and demethylation is where we lose the energy pockets in the cells. So acetyl groups have a specific function on the proteins on the cells, and then what they do is they do something that's called deacetylation, removing the acetyl groups. And this is how your body functions at a subatomic level. It's really fascinating biochemistry. So there are a group of foods which have been studied, mostly in animal studies, that help with boosting the energy of the sirtuin genes. So if you lose your sirtuin genes, then you already know that you're going to age a lot faster, because the biological functions are going to slow down because we're going to lose that deacetylation process in the body. There is some research that is showing promise in helping us to activate the sirtuin genes. And these foods are actually very well known, but we don't look at them as foods to activate our anti-aging capacity. However, a lot of them have been very well studied. First is resveratrol, and we've talked about resveratrol in one of our previous episodes. This is a polyphenol that is mostly associated as an antioxidant. It's also an antifungal and anti-inflammatory and anti-mugenic as well, but at the same time, it really is powerful for helping to activate the sirtuin gene. And The interesting part is that the resveratrol, it comes in berries and red grapes and peanuts, and it's found in soybeans and pomegranate. And of course, one of the best forms is that giant knotweed. That's one of the best forms of the resveratrol. But the dark, natural, native blueberries that we find are actually one of the most potent sources of the resveratrol, and it's that blue pigment, that flavonoid that makes that color of the blueberry, that is also very powerful as a source of resveratrol and is very, very known for helping to activate the sirtuin genes. Another really big player there is quercetin. Now, quercetin is also a very powerful anti-inflammatory, and it has been known to help with a lot of different disorders, but it's also found in a lot of interesting foods like capers and buckwheat and lovage and apples and onions and citrus fruits. But the interesting part is the best forms of the quercetin tend to come from the onion family. Another good player, another powerful player to activate the sirtuin genes is olive oil. But one of my favorites for me is the Moroccan olive oil and the cold-pressed olive oils, which come from Greece. And you can tell because they still have that little bit of sediment, that little mother that's left inside the olive oil. And that tells you that you're getting a really good, clean olive oil that's not been heavily processed or heated in any way. Cacao is another big guy, rich in flavonoids, many benefits, especially for cardiovascular health, but there's some evidence that shows it can be very powerful to help to activate the sirtuin gene as well. Green tea, of course, the alleged tannins and the other polyphenols found in the green tea are very good. You want to watch the source of the green tea because a lot of the green teas may have a lot of caffeine in it. So I like the green tea liquids that are probiotic driven because the probiotics happen to eat up a lot of the caffeine that's found in the green tea, and I find that those are very, very clean sources. Another very powerful guy for upregulating sirtuin genes is green vegetables, and of course they contain indocarbonyl 3, the I3C. This is found in the brassica family, such as the broccolis and the cabbages. And of course, they have powerful anti-cancer properties. But at the same time, it's very interesting. They're very good at activating sirtuin genes. And there's also some evidence to show that it actually activates the anti-obesity gene as well. Isn't that interesting? Turmeric. This guy is legendary for so many things and has neuroprotective properties. It's anti-inflammatory, obviously. But the curcumicoids found in the turmeric, that's the active component of the turmeric, also help with the sirtuin gene as well. Soy foods, and of course for me it's going to be the non-genetically modified soy foods. These guys, which include the tofu, tempeh, miso, very good sources of the isoflavones, also very good for the activation of the sirtuin gene signaling agents. The omega-3 fatty acids, and we know that they're good for cardiovascular health, insulin sensitivity, autoimmune issues, so many things, but also they are very effective also for the sirtuin gene activation. And last is melatonin. I may not consider that a food, but at the end of the day, very well known for helping with sleep, also with circadian rhythms, also a very powerful antioxidant. But interestingly enough, your levels of melatonin tend to decline with age, and of course, this is going to be one of the contributors to the degenerative conditions we associate with aging. And evidence is suggesting that melatonin helps to activate their sirtuin genes as well. So keep this in mind. These are mostly animal studies, but at the end of the day, there are many, many good pieces of evidence here that are beginning to put together this pieces of the puzzle of the longevity equation to help you achieve the very best anti-aging regimen for you. I think if you incorporate a lot more of these sirtuin activating foods into your diet, I think that you're going to really like what it can do for you as we put on a few more miles on the chassis here. And of course, at the end of the day, the goal is to push back the dragon of aging. So this is definitely part of that overall equation. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode as we talked about the Sirtuin genes. I hope that you incorporate some of these amazing foods into your diet. Maybe you do a little bit more research yourself. I think it's a fascinating subject. I think one of the fascinating articles you might want to take a read at is if you go online to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, the National Institute of Health. There's a wonderful document that's available for you here called Aging Cell, and it's an article on blueberry polyphenols increasing lifespan. And I think it's pretty easy to look that guy up. And you're going to be absolutely amazed because they do talk a lot about how the blueberries help to activate the Sirtuin gene, and there's a lot of really good research there for you to take a look at. Until next time, I'm your anti-aging guru, Brian Gangle from bgangel.com, saying bright suns all the way. Have yourself a stress-free and healthy day, and don't you dare forget your final departure date can be delayed. Bye for now.